Welcome everybody. Please add your name to the agenda if you're attending. If you're here representing a specific project, add that as well. We'll actually do, oh, we lost one of our new people who was here briefly and then disappeared. We'll do a round of introductions because we have at least one new person. Oh, and how about my camera?
There you are.
Cameras are good. Well, they're good when they're working. They're not always working. And then we'll go through stuff. So let's go ahead and get started with introductions. Why not? I'm Josh Burkus. I'm co-chair of TAG Contributor Strategy and also the governance working group. And I work for Red Hat. Dave. Dave, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry, got a call like right as you were saying that. Yeah, I'm Dave Sudia. I work at Ambassador Labs. We have Emissary Ingress and Telepresence in CNCF, and I'm running Maintainer Circle right now.
Okay, Ali?
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Ali O. I work for Red Hat. I'm a Knative contributor, and I'm also trying to contribute to CNCF, this tag basically, and to the mentorship tag.
Okay, it is to hand it off, but Sanchita.
Hello everyone, I'm Sanchita Mishra, currently in the sophomore year of my bachelor's degree. I'm a shadow for the release notes, version 1.27 released in, and I'm exploring projects under CNCF to contribute and explore more. Thank you.
Okay, well, welcome.
I am Marianne. I'm working with II, mostly on Kubernetes things around infra, around performance, and I'm also helping with the mentoring stuff and repos and things where I can. And Noah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Noah. I work for Oracle right now, and my day job is enabling contributors. So I've done a lot in this ecosystem for a while and have done a lot of non-code stuff in the past. I don't know who's gone because I joined late.
I think probably I'm next. I think I might be the last to introduce themselves. Hi, I'm Nate. I am a developer advocate with the CNCF, and primarily I focus on technical documentation and the mentorship program, of which I am a co-chair with Jay for the mentorship working group.
Cool, okay. Well, so we don't have any projects joining us today, so we'll go ahead with our regular agenda, which is, given who's here, going to end up being mostly about mentoring and Maintainer Circle, which is fine. So let's start with mentoring.
Okay, so we are in the accepting applications stage of the first term of this year's LFX mentorship. So if you've got, if you've seen the tweets or the Mastodon toots, I would appreciate any boosting you can do, any retweeting to help get the word out to folks who might want to participate. Currently, we've got 61 proposals, which includes about 70 mentors. I haven't got an exact count of the mentors yet participating, and that's covering about 28 CNCF projects being represented. So I think we are off to an absolutely flying start here for this year. So I'm really pleased with that. So we've got the proposals in. Now we just got to make sure that people are applying. So that's the next push is for the next couple of weeks here, making sure that folks are able to, not able to, but are actually applying and making sure that the mentors all have a good pool of folks to make selections from. One of the things I'd like to do probably sooner than later, probably this week or next, I'm going to work with Jay and the team. Right now, we have got only the information around term 1 available on the repo. I'd like to. I don't know that I want to open up things for proposals yet, but what I want to do is get the timelines posted and public so that people can plan around the next 2 terms. I think that I think I've mentioned this before. It would be good to give people more information around these timelines, because then they can see, okay, well, maybe my Google Summer of Code proposal isn't accepted. Then I can push it into to term 2 or term 3 of the LFX or something along those lines. Give people that option, and it also gives the mentees the opportunity to see, okay, well, maybe if they're students, maybe I take term 2 or the 3rd semester from their university. I just think more information more quickly is better. So I'm going to try and get that out pretty quick. So when I do put out the PR to merge that in, if folks can take a look at that with a couple of things in mind. I don't know all of the events that are happening, and I don't know all of the blockers that may happen in key sort of times. So if you're aware of something that is going to be a conflict, let me know. And of course, anytime any feedback on timing is welcome. I was talking to a friend of mine who works in the university system here up in Canada, and he was mentioning that we are about a month offset from the 2 of the big universities here in Vancouver, at least. So I might start taking a look at seeing if there is an average term start and stop time across North America. And well, you can't just be North America. But what the feedback I've heard is that it would be hard for some potential mentees to apply, because it would be starting a month late and ending a month late, which would be interfering with their studies in the. So those are some things that we may want to consider looking at shifting based on the global average of when universities start and stop their time. I don't know quite how to get that information yet, but any info you have would be helpful. Google Summer of Code. We're still, I believe, in the org application phase. I'm not sure if we've been. I can't remember the exact date. I have to check this. But we've applied to be an org, and once they accept or reject, then we can make an action on which proposals should be presented to them. So right now we are accepting proposals, but because we're still in the org application phase, there's time yet for the proposals to come in. I think that's my update. Is there any questions or comments around mentorship right now?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, rumors say that Google Summer Code might be smaller this year than it was last year. So
yeah, I've heard,
we can't necessarily assume that the CNCF will be accepted.
Yeah, I've heard those rumors from a couple of sources, and the way I'm planning on sort of managing that is to continue basically as is.
Yeah.
With the exception of I may not make the same level of pushing for applications, or rather not applications, proposals, because I don't want maintainers to become disillusioned with that process. And this is also part of the reason So I will normally what I would do is I would say, hey everyone, we've been accepted. If we're accepted, get your proposals in, and we're off to the races trying to get as many good solid proposals as possible. This year, if those rumors turn out to be true, we'll know. I think February. Thank you, whoever put the note in there. So February 2nd, 22nd, we'll know if we're accepted as an org. I'll still make an announcement if we are accepted. But if we only have a couple of slots, and we won't know that yet either. So I won't make the sort of weekly push to, hey, get your proposals in that I would normally do. And I think that opening up information around term 2 and term 3 for the LFX gives the projects and maintainers an option to sort of cherry pick into another program. So again, these are just rumors at this point, but like I said, I've heard it from a couple of places now. So this is my unofficial plan, because I don't want to act before I know, but I've heard it on good authority.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we're not going to get accepted if we don't put it in an application.
Well,
Right.
our application is in.
Yeah, and but we're not going to get accepted. Also, we don't have like a bunch of projects and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and there's a few. And remember, anyone here can review. There's a few. I've gotten a little bit behind in reviewing Google Summer of Code PRs. And I was actually going to put some time aside this afternoon to try and go through those. But if you have time and the inclination to do a review, if they look good, put an LGTM on there. If you feel like they need to make some updates, I welcome all the help I can get on that, and I invite folks to do those types of reviews. It doesn't have to be me and Jay doing those.
okay. Yeah, you want to post some links in the Slack channel? That will also probably pick up some other folks as well.
Oh, for
just to like the collective PRs.
Oh, sure, yeah,
PR search, that sort of thing.
Let me just yeah, let me grab that. It's I actually tag everything. I'm quite diligent about tagging what programs things are. So you'll see 2003, 2023 GSOC as a label, or 2023 term 1 Marmay LFX mentorship, just to make sure that as we move through, we can see hold on a second. Table,
so I already put the link for a query for
awesome. Yeah, thank you.
In the document, so I can also have a look and review at least a couple of them.
I appreciate that, Ali.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, that is actually, I think, exactly the link I was just trying to build, right?
Okay. Okay. So sounds pretty good for mentorships. If we have time later, I want to go back to a discussion around our discussion around using Clotributor and some of the problems that people raised in Slack. But I do want to get to some of the other stuff, particularly Maintainer Circle. So we may revisit that at the end. Contributor growth, they didn't actually send in an update, so we're going to skip over that. Governance working group, the TOC embraced the idea of having a governance review as part of graduation review. down to the point where they were like, that sounds like a great idea. Here's 2 projects applying for graduation. Please review them. Dawn and I are working on that. We really need to recruit some more people for the working group. Because if it's only me and Dawn doing governance reviews, it's eventually not going to scale. And at some point we will want to move on to other things. So we need to have some people that we can actually work with on that. And we'll see.
Is that a monthly meeting as well?
Yeah, but the meeting's less important than doing things like helping with governance reviews, helping projects, suggesting governance structure, et cetera. Helping with our list of documentation to dos, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And by the way, speaking of monthly meetings, one of the things I wanted to put in here is Kubernetes is changing the nature of the community meeting. And so third Thursdays are no longer off limits for us using that time slot if we needed to do it for another working group. Right now, we don't have anybody who needs to use that time slot. So since mentoring is better off with a time slot that's later in the day. But if it comes up. Okay, so maintainer circle. Dave?
Yeah, okay, so Kim got kind of overwhelmed with the stuff ramping up in her new job and has had to pull out of the one on this Monday. She let me know on Sunday. I kind of spent most of this week trying to see if I was going to be able to figure out how to more immediately replace that, and was unable to. So she is interested in still doing that session, but she's going to have to put it off for a couple of months. I'm just going to, at this point, we're just going to have to cancel the one for Monday. If I'm going to try, I'd still love to get one done before KubeCon, like a virtual one. So if anyone's got, a lead on someone who might be interested in doing it maybe in early March, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be actively asking about that. Otherwise, for the one at KubeCon, I was kind of hoping Amy would stay on the call when she popped in for a second, because I've sent in the request for time and space. Haven't heard back on when that will be yet, but we have the hotel maintainers. So the people I know would be Rin and Austin, and then they'll probably have a few other people in. But the idea for them is that they have a lot of people who engage with the hotel stuff, who are not necessarily direct contributors, but are end users or people who have other interest in the projects coming in. And so they had to kind of figure out how do we create structures to engage these people so that it's friendly to them, but we're also we have structures for maintainers, for contributors, we have structures for the other people with interest in the project. So they're going to talk about those struggles that they had, and then the structure they built, and that would kind of be the topic for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where those are at.
Yeah, so if they confirm the space, let me know and I'll help wordsmithing the calendar item and advertising it to the maintainers.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, what I put in here is even just kind of I basically copy pasted a bit that Rin sent me in Slack. So it's that this description is definitely not wordsmithed at all at the moment.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying we'll need to write a pitch for it.
Totally.
So that the other maintainers will understand how this is relevant to them.
Yeah.
But that sounds like an awesome topic.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So anyways, I'm gonna have to email Amy today to ask her to send out the cancellation notice. So I might just ask on a space update when I send that as well.
Yeah, and make sure to post the postponement in the maintainer check Slack channel yourself.
Yeah, I will do that as well.
So we could actually spend a couple of minutes here potentially brainstorming other topics and people that we might be able to get.
Yeah.
For March. If folks have ideas for other topics. I mean, obviously, one of the big ones is contributor recruitment, but that sounds like it might have a lot of overlap with the KubeCon session.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, because again, the KubeCon session is a bit more about like people who are coming to your project who are not contributors, right? And how do you manage that?
Right,
So I
okay.
think contributor recruitment would still be a fine thing that wouldn't have too much overlap.
Okay, and other ideas to remind people we've had in the past is we've had a couple sessions about burnout. We've had one about code of conduct. We've had one about reviewing PRs and experience of, reviewing, managing reviews, rejecting PRs, etc. And part of it is, comes down to where can we get a good facilitator?
Sure.
Who's going to be respected and be sort of a draw for the community
And
and for the
say,
other maintainers.
yeah, would I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about how, yeah, I was just, this is basically whoever just typed the CNCF advancement, since the talk has embraced governance reviews as part of graduation, I was thinking maybe a review of how governance reviews work would be good.
Well, I don't want to do that because like task number 1 that we have on there is, okay, we now need a template for governance reviews, right?
Sure.
But we could actually talk about project governance in general.
Sure.
And that would be one I'd be more of a position to suggest people for, right? Because it would be either me or Dawn, plus, a maintainer from some project that recently adopted new governance.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Of which there are several. So so that might be good, and that would be something we conceivably put together in March.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the other big one, actually, so if we were not doing governance, the big one around CNCF investment would be recruiting that list of end users for CNCF advancement, but just like the whole advancement process.
Yeah, I think, it could
for
be
those projects that don't have corporate sponsors with full-time community managers assigned to the project.
Sure. And even, yeah, I mean, because that, I think, it's easy to think about like incubation to graduation, but yeah, how do you get out of the sandbox would be an interesting one.
One of the other ones that actually would be good, and I can immediately think of a couple of people who could be involved in this, would be to do one on contributor summits.
Okay.
Because right, that is, what are they, what benefit do they offer to your project, what resources do you need, that sort of thing. Because we have a few projects that have run them and a lot of projects that have not ever had one.
Sure.
So as a contributor, for example, if I had like, if there would be a session like, where is my project fitting in the name landscape? That would be very nice, for example, for me, like how to know about, like how to figure out where my project is, something like that.
Okay.
That's something I always struggled with.
Like where it sits in relation to other projects that do the same kind of thing, or where
or how to figure out, like when you check that landscape thing, it's like really large and you don't really get it, so
Sure.
How to read that map, that landscape, and I don't want anyone here like or there to teach me where my project fits, like, but how can I what's the correct way to explore other opportunities, other projects, and things like that.
Okay.
again, I mean, but so I just read about maintainer circle. I don't have too much information, but if I'm
Yeah.
understanding it right, so this would be kind of hopefully a good fit.
Yeah, I mean, we're brainstorming. All the ideas are good right now.
Yep. The other thing that we discussed doing earlier and had not really put together plans for was doing one about participating in the organized mentoring programs.
Sure.
So GSOC, LFX, Outreachy. And that would be starting Nate, and plus we'd want to recruit a mentor from some project, you know,
Sure.
a mentor maintainer to talk about their experience.
And hello again, Amy. Dave, you had mentioned wanting to ask.
Oh yeah, I Amy, if you're actively listening, yeah. So just I saw you were kind of reading through the agenda earlier, but I'm gonna need to send you an email earlier because we need to, or later because we need to cancel the Monday.
I can just do that now. That's fine. Rock
Okay.
and roll. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it out in Slack, but
Yep.
thanks.
Dropping it
And
now.
let me give you the sunny side of that, which is, I'm not sure that I was actually going to be able to attend the Monday one and help with tech. So having it, you know, having it on a later date might be good, at least from a support perspective.
Sure. And Amy, I'm not sure if you sent out the email to the maintainer list, but I'll
Nope.
need to.
Honestly, we wait for like the teams to be able to do that because it's best to be able to have it in your own words. So you are
Okay.
just fine.
Cool. Great.
Okay.
Then we don't need to do that.
Okay.
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 Yeah,
Just
I
to-
think. Go ahead.
Good. Do we have more brainstorming ideas? Or are we good?
I just had one thought that if we went in the direction of talking about contributor summits, we could promote it at a contributor summit that might be hosted by someone on this call.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's actually, but I mean, the thing is, it's less for the Kubernetes people who have a lot of familiarity with contributor summits, and more for the other projects, right? Because Kubernetes has them on the regular. Helm has had one. Prometheus has had one. Kubevert has had one. I don't know that anybody else has had one.
Though I'm thinking on the inverse of that, being able to say, hey, here's a bunch of you who are currently at a contributor summit. If you would like to go help other projects also run a contributor summit, pop up at this other session that is happening tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Well, except we wouldn't be doing that at KubeCon. We already have a topic for KubeCon.
I see.
So this would be for a
conflating the two.
virtual one.
Then I will go back on mute because I'm conflating things.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd say actually our two best bets probably for getting one put together quickly in March would be either project governance or participating in mentoring programs. And you know, in both cases, it would be a question of, can we get that project person? So, you know, in Nate's case, can we get that mentor who can talk about their experience mentoring and you know, what it brought to the project and what was difficult about it?
Yeah, I'm sure that we'd be able to get somebody. I've worked with enough folks who are have been very pleased with the program. So I think that shouldn't be an issue.
So if we could do that in early March, how does that work timing wise for you?
For me?
Yeah, for you and for the programs that we need to put stuff into.
Forgive me, I have to admit to being somewhat distracted for part of this conversation. I apologize. This is a maintainer circle. When will this maintainer circle happen?
Well, we're
trying to find something that we can get in before KubeCon, because I was trying to sort of go like a February and then we go to April. And I mean, ideally they'd be monthly, but even right now, I'm trying to shoot for bi-monthly. So yeah.
So we're looking currently at March then, I guess?
Yeah. I think just to give time to, again, let people know, for the people who are running it to, you know, get their content together. So yeah, like early March would probably be what we should.
And then how long would we Like these, I've never actually attended a maintainer circle, so forgive me for that. Are these mostly conversational, or would I need to have somebody put together slides and whatnot?
Yeah, the format's generally about an hour-ish, where you have a first presenter do some slides more kind of about theory, and then there'd be a breakout session. So the idea would be like, you'd talk about the structure, right? And then there'd be like a breakout conversation. And then
Okay.
we'd have someone who is a mentor do like, here's the on the ground, a couple, again, not super long presentations, not a half an hour, time like 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then there'd be more breakout, with guided discussion questions.
Okay, I think I've got a couple of people in mind who might be able to help with that. And so it sounds like the person who would be a mentor wouldn't have to put together slides and whatnot. So it would be an hour of their time, not like 4 hours of prep plus the hour. I would have to do a little bit of prep stuff, but I think if you want, I can probably. So if we're looking for March, I probably want to get that. We're at what, the 7th of Feb? No, we're at the 9th. Yeah, if I can have a week or two to try and find somebody, would that work in your?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. I think I can do that.
Cool. Yeah,
Okay.
we can coordinate the rest of it over Slack. But
sure.
yeah, a week or two to find someone, then we have a week or two to give people heads up that we'll find the schedule and put it out there. And and they may want to do slides as but it would be more like they choose to do that as an ancillary presentation thing.
Okay. And in terms of my timeline, almost any time in March is okay, because my next trip is KubeCon EU. So
Hey, Nate, ask Tremors.
Tremors?
Yeah, the Tremor project.
I'll make a note.
Yeah,
okay.
They're more EU based, but they've been pretty involved, so they might be a really good fit for that. So
who has been? Yeah, okay, I'll check into that, because I don't remember off the top of my head who has worked with.
As a warning, both Amy and I are going to be at scale, which whatever it is, 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that.
Yeah.
So if it's during that period, it might be bad for having, because usually for these things, it works to have one person emceeing and one person doing the technical part of the Zoom call. That might be bad for availability for tech support. So we might want to avoid the scale dates just for that reason. So yeah, scale would be March 8th or 9th would be bad.
And that would be an in-person thing, right? Is that? Or
no.
Well,
scale is an in-person thing. The maintainer circle is an online thing.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. What we try to do is have in-person ones at KubeCon, but then do ones in between that are virtual.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I feel like I'm caught up. My apologies for being distracted.
Cool. So we'll for now assume that we're working with that topic. Nate's going to find a mentor, and then once you've got that person, then we can actually figure out what the day will be.
Yeah. And in the meantime, I'll confer with Dawn as soon as she's back, and we'll look at feeling out some of the people that have revved their governance in the last year, which has been several projects, and see if somebody's interested. And we'll have that as a backup topic. And if mentoring goes ahead, which it probably will, then we can use the governance topic for a later month.
Yeah, May or June or something. And then we've got Kim's rescheduled for sometime after that. So that gives us a nice little backlog to keep coming up with other stuff. Cool.
Okay. Well, the other thing is that since you're rescheduling the one with Kim, you can actually reach out to some of the people who said no before as a second facilitator and see if they're available for the new date.
Yeah, totally. Cool. I think that covers maintainer circle then.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, good plans. So moving on for getting out the word out campaign, just briefly, we're going to have some stuff at KubeCon. We are going to, Catherine went ahead and applied for a part-time pod in the projects pavilion. If we get that, we're going to be recruiting people to put in an hour or so for staffing. That was really good in Detroit for projects finding us. We got a lot of questions and requests for help from projects in person. And that was the idea, to sort of continue that again. And unless the CNCF staff decided they want to put together a staff information desk, in which case we could actually combine forces. But either way, we'll also put in for a maintainer session on that. And again, you know, they haven't sent out acceptances or denials yet. Oh wait, no, they did accept the
Yeah, they
maintainer
did.
session. So we're doing the
we're
maintainer
accepted.
session.
We are,
we're
yeah,
doing
we
the
are
maintainer
doing the
session.
maintainer session. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So social this week. I think social this week should probably be about LFX. Yeah.
I've actually that was part of what distracted me earlier, is I have already had one tweet sent out for just, again, a blast to get folks to be interested in applying. And because we have, I think we've got more proposals to fill this time than we've ever had, I'm a little bit nervous about getting, so I've asked Jesse to, if we can have, I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 more tweets around application, maybe one this end of this week, early next week, one end of next week, and then one the day before the deadline, which will be Monday the 20th. So the deadline to apply is on the 21st. But because we have a long, I should actually also, if I can digress, we had some issues around the LFX platform and some of our processes around accepting proposals, which meant that I had to push some of our deadlines, our due dates, our key dates around this term. I pushed everything out uniformly by 1 week. And we're working with the LFX team to make sure that the things that went wrong won't go wrong again. So my apologies for the delay on some of that. And I should have mentioned in my mentoring update, but those are things that we are working on internally with the LFX team, and we've actually got a couple of scheduled sort of sessions between the CNCF team and the LFX team to try and get some of that stuff done. But in terms of our social stuff, I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds. I'm already working on getting some tweets going to try and encourage applications.
Okay, I mean, given that, I'm not entirely, the only other thing that we might actually put out is something about the maintainer session. You know, that we're going to be doing it, and that people should be aware of it. At some point, Dawn and I want to put something about recruiting somebody for governance, but I think that we'll do that after we have a governance review template, so that we can recruit people specifically to something. So, okay. So,
is there, sorry, just again, my own concern about trying to fill positions now, is there other places? So there's Twitter's key, Mastodon's pretty small still, but it's nice to get stuff out into there. Is there any other spaces that I should be looking to try and recruit applicants from? I know the CNCF hash mentoring channel has probably got 2,000 or 3,000 people in there, so that's a good spot. But is there anywhere else that we should be looking to try and recruit from?
If we're recruiting mentees, LinkedIn is good.
LinkedIn, okay.
Yeah, you'll just need to coordinate with CNCF's PR people for what they have on LinkedIn. I mean, obviously you can post something yourself on LinkedIn, but the important thing is to get it reshared into a LinkedIn group
the key.
that's already popular. The and I don't control any of those groups, so you might want to talk to
I can find out who to
folks
talk to
at that,
about
because
that.
I know that the
Yeah.
CNCF has some stuff and the LF has some stuff on LinkedIn.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
And bringing it personal also, I think would increase the outreach, because I don't know about the rest of you. I know I get a lot of connection requests, and general follows from like students all over the world who are interested in what they're doing and how they can get started, et cetera, et cetera.
The yeah. Oh, and are you connected with Kunal?
Yes, he actually just reached out to me this morning.
Okay.
What before I just blurt out all
Well,
of my,
given that he's revived CNCF students, he seems to control one of our target audiences for mentees. So
yeah, and that's actually that's a good point. I'll reach out to him as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I'm in conversations with him about the revival of the students. Yeah, and how that might work. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so I'll see if I can actually get, except, Catherine is taking off. We might not actually be doing any other social media thing because
Yeah,
of
she's out for
people's
like 2 weeks.
unavailability. Because I don't feel ready to write a promotion of our maintainer session just because I haven't done anything on it except to say that I would show up for it. So the so that might wait. Okay, well, thanks everybody. Unless we have something else, just so people know, I'm going to be out for the next 2 weeks. So let's see. I think next week's meeting is contributor growth.
I think we've got a mentorship meeting in that time as well.
Yeah, you've got mentorship meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or do you? I don't see it on my calendar.
Oh
wait, I'm looking at Wednesday. That's the problem. Yes, you have mentorship meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I will be absent for that, but other people will be here. And
enjoy your time away.
Josh, will you just share it? You can just DM me in Slack or something. Just like generally good times and days that you could do tech on a maintainer circle called. That way, as we're trying to, if we can get it scheduled in the next 2 weeks, we can have a little bit of confidence. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we're talking about early March. So March 6th or 7th, which I think are the Monday and Tuesday that week.
Okay.
Or the following week.
Okay, cool.
Although ideally not first thing Monday morning because I'll have gotten off a plane at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So
all right. 6th or 7th, the next week, not first thing Monday morning, is close enough to be able to try to schedule
if it was just me, I would say there are other people, but the fact that it's going to be me and Amy and Jiffy means that's a bad time to hold it just because.
Wait, we would normally never be involved anyways. I think it's fine to be able to consider this, but go ahead.
Right, I was just saying if I wasn't available, but although the other person who could do tech for it would be Carolyn, so.
Right,
and
like
she is not going to scale, so so it's not. Let's not rule it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If it works, it works.
If the 8th or 9th is like really the best day for everyone else, then let's see if Carolyn's available to help do tech.
Okay, cool. That's just another thing I'm going to add into the hosting guide is like you're going to need someone on tech too, because that's like that was a
which
new one
could
to
be
me today,
you,
so.
but then someone else needs to host, right?
Yeah,
it's just you
totally.
need 2 people because otherwise it's just too hard with the clicky stuff.
Yeah, host and tech, but I don't think that's in there, so I'm going to add that in as another guideline to make sure that you get 2 people. So
yeah,
cool. All right, sweet,
cool. Okay. Awesome. See everybody later.
Yeah.
Have a good day,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.